Okay, we have quorum, so we're going to get started.
Yeah, go right ahead. Yes.
I should just read this first.
Yep.
All right, so we do have some public comments tonight, so I'm going to read the paragraphs about that. Public comment, the Family Life Advisory Committee welcomes and encourages public comment. Registration to participate in public comment begins 30 minutes before the posted start time of the meeting. Public comment is not intended to be a question and answer platform with the committee members. Generally, committee members, what?
Sorry, that's the old one.
That's the old one?
Yep, the board gave us a new one.
Oh, we got a new one.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay, what's this one here?
There you go. Sorry.
Oh, good, new one. The comments, the Board Advisory Committee view public comment as an opportunity to hear concerns of the public with the understanding and expectation that it is not considered a question and answer platform with the Board Advisory Committee members. Consequently, the Board Advisory Committee members will not provide a response to public comment presented in its meeting or by submission of a written comment, although they may follow up with an individual as appropriate. In order to have an orderly presentation of comments by the public and to maximize the opportunity for public comment, students, individuals, and organizational representatives shall be limited to 2 minutes for their public comment. When the buzzer sounds, you will be asked to complete a sentence. A total of 40 minutes is allotted for your public comment. These members of the public wishing to share their additional comments may do so by emailing blackinformation@fcps.org.
We have two speakers. First, Chase Borns. If you could please step up to the podium. That mic is live.
Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Chase Borns. I'm running for Frederick County Council in District 5. I was unaware that public comment was first. However, you did a good job reading the instructions. So I guess I would just like to lay out some of my concerns with FCPS and some of their sex education. I find it very concerning that some of the books and literature that's being taught to our kids, I think it's very important to keep kids innocent as long as they can. In today's society, with how sexualized our society already is, especially with social media, it's just so accessible already. So they don't, I agree that they should be properly taught proper sex education, but I'm not a fan of how it's being taught in the FCPS right now. So as a candidate, I want to look more into the nitty-gritty on where the budget is headed and in terms of the education that the children are getting. And I think there's a lot of waste being spent, and I think we could allocate that funds to other resources. For example, my hometown is Thurmont, and they can't even get full-time staff. I don't think that's a budget issue. I just think that's a problem with where the money is being allocated. So that's all I have to say for right now. Thank you.
Patty Worsley.
Hi, I'm Patty Worsley. I'm from Myersville, Maryland. And I did not get a chance to look over what you are thinking about putting into the curriculum, but I do have some concerns that any book, title, or contents that contains or alludes to the following beliefs or statements is treasonous to the United States and to Maryland. This is a communist list that was read into the Congress, a congressional report in 1963, and they the list of things that they want to do to take over the schools and the public and our nation. There's 45 lists. I'm not going to read them all. But number 17 says, get control of the schools. Use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda. Soften the curriculum. Get control of teachers' associations and put the party line in textbooks. Continue, number 22. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. An American communist cell was told to eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings, substituting shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. That would include faceless things and comic-type things. Control art critics and directors of art museums. Our plan is to promote ugliness, repulsiveness, meaningless art. That includes comics. Eliminate all laws governing obscenity by calling them censorship and a violation of free speech and free press. Break down, I have one more I'd like to say. Discredit the family as an institution. Encourage promiscuity and easy divorce. Anything that does that is treasonous to the United States Constitution.
That's it?
That's
Move
it.
to approve introduction of members.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we're going to introduce all the members here. Why don't we start over? You going to the bathroom?
No, I was about to go grab my papers because I didn't do that, but that's okay. I'm Devin Thoden. Technically, I'm at large, but I'm also in the Frederick High feeder area.
Callie Zannarini, and I am a parent in the Linganore High School feeder area. Oh, sorry. Here we go, Ho.
We're the member liaison.
Elijah student member of the Board of Education.
Jennifer Korth, parent rep from Governor Thomas Johnson High School feeder.
Kate Majewski from the Urbana feeder.
I'm Daniel, parents, and from the Oakdale feeder.
Monica Pufo for the County Health Department. I'm Hannah Feldman, I'm the principal at Yellow Springs Elementary, and I'm representing administrators.
And Jen Metcalf, I'm here representing Intimate Partner Violence Prevention Organizations, and I'm also part of the TJ High feeder area.
I'm Raven Jones, I'm part of the Walkersville feeder area and have a child in elementary school.
Mr. Hannon, I'm part of the Middletown High feeder area.
Daphne Church, part of the Brunswick High feeder area.
Robin Seidel, the healthcare professional.
Ryan Griffith, FCPS Staff Liaison, Supervisor of Pre-K to 12 Health and Physical Education.
Okay, so now, we're going to, does everybody look over the minutes from the last meeting? And so, does everybody approve of the minutes? Hand up.
Discussion first.
Gonna make the motion.
Discussion.
We need someone to make a motion to
Oh,
approve
make
the
a
minutes.
motion to approve the
I
minutes.
make a motion
Who
to
makes a
approve.
motion?
Second.
Second.
Second. Now discussion.
Any discussion? Okay. All right.
Vote.
Okay, now everybody looked over, had enough time now? Okay. This is for approval. Okay. Opposed? Abstaining?
I wasn't here.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. So if you remember, the last time we watched the one video on understanding menstruation and we voted, and it was a tie. That was the teeth one. So we looked into that, and so a simple majority is required if item ties and fails, and how would we move forward with this items? And would the item in the tie move to the next meeting for the review? And I looked into the Robert's Rules of Order, and because I assumed that's what we were following. And I saw two things. The one thing said if there was a voting or non-voting chairperson, and then the other one was like, if it's a tie, it's considered a fail. So,
And our chair, because a chair is pulled from you all, the chair does vote in our committee. And we don't want that to be taken away from a chair as you all volunteer to move forward. So according to Robert's rules, if that is, then that's fine, if that's what this committee. We just don't have anything in the guidelines saying what we should be doing with a tie. So if this committee says a tie means it fails and we move on, then we're gonna add that to the guidelines and move on. That's fine.
okay. So I guess we should have a motion.
Well,
Discuss it?
Pretty standard. Usually when you have a tie, it's a fail. And I don't necessarily think it needs to be changed.
Okay.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Agree.
This is, everybody's done tonight. I understand, not a problem.
So you're saying, so if it's to approve a video, it's a tie, it fails, that means the video's done?
Yep.
I'm just interjecting this for my, I mean, could you have a vote if there was a tie? Could there be more? I mean, I'm not saying we discuss things till, but do you think any of this material warrants maybe a little more discussion? And then a potential revote, like,
Like a reintroduction, like.
yeah, like, okay, let's talk about, you know, you said no, or I said no because of this, and this is why. I'm just saying, some of the material, I'm like, are we comfortable just scrapping it?
So we currently, am I remembering right, that we currently watch, discuss, and then vote at the end?
Yes.
So we have that, I mean, because I'm kind of torn a tiny bit too, like, do we come back in a month if it's a tie and see if anyone's kind of let it simmer and made a different decision? You know, but I think that we do have that discussion period, and so maybe if we just make sure that we're really having a robust discussion, and if it's a tie, we didn't,
Second time.
then that's,
Do you want to see it again?
yeah, do we want to watch it again, or can someone indicate, like, let's watch it again? But I think,
Present another video.
Right, they cover the same topic.
Yeah. If I can just point out, there is a Robert's Rules waiver. Somebody that voted on the prevailing side could make the motion again at a future meeting.
Failing, the
Right,
person
so,
who failed it.
well, in this, yes, since a tie would be considered failing, somebody who voted, now your voting is, it's anonymous, correct? Because you, your name on it.
I mean,
Our names are.
We have that, but we do not share any that anywhere. The only thing that goes to the board is the number. For, abstain, against. That's all that goes to the board. No names. We do include your comments. What you put down on that document, we do a summary and we provide that to the board. We do not put names anywhere.
I mean, I guess my only comfort is this is the first tie that I've seen since I've been on these terms, and I wasn't even here. So, I mean, I guess, you know, it's a rare situation or circumstance, so I guess if you all think that I just would hate to scrap issues or topics.
Well, I think it's more about,
That's even more reason to be.
right, 'cause
about scraping.
it's just the video, right?
Okay, so then, but then.
Not the
when
topic.
does-
The video, yeah.
I don't mean the topic.
I mean, I know what I'm just saying, like, somebody could come and bring back another video about menstruation,
exactly.
Yeah.
or a different,
And we can vote on that.
for example. Right.
and maybe what we might do is if somebody feels like it's gonna, you know, if there's a lot of discourse and where it seems divided, maybe that's an opportunity for any one of us to say, could we watch it again? Which we could already do, but maybe just empower ourselves to say, like, now that we've heard from each other. I mean, last
Yeah.
time I came in hot as a no for one of them, and I changed my mind because of this conversation. So I think this is a rich
Yeah.
group of people, and maybe then we empower ourselves to say, let's take a hot minute, watch it again, and then vote or whatever, but give it that little bit of room to breathe.
So So again, it sounds like there's already a process in place, so that if there is, again, this is the first tie that I've seen in 13 years. And going back to previous school systems, I have not been on a tie ever. So in almost 30 years. So it was very interesting. But so there's already a process for ties. If somebody does want to bring it up, you can suggest and we can add it to the agenda for the next meeting. Is everybody okay with that? So officially, we don't need to add anything to the guidelines because it's already part of Robert's rules.
Everybody okay with
Okay.
that?
I do just want to point out real quick, if you look at the second page with membership, we already are making one suggestion to Karen and the Board of Education for that change. We already did approve that we are adding a member. So we are having 10 feeder schools as well as the charter schools representatives. So there will be one representative from charter schools that they'll be looking out for as well. Okay, so that's the only change for the guidelines that we'll be moving forward. Okay? Okay. That's simple, perfect. So next thing on the agenda is possible topics for next year. One of the things I just wanted to real quick talk about is the start of the year and get your feedback. And so some of your feedback over the years, and I just want to make sure that it is clear for me and Jess moving forward for this summer, is what we do at the start of the year. Typically that first meeting is we go over the guidelines, we go over expectations, we give an overview of health education. We do all that stuff at the first meeting. Some of you who have been members for a few years have said, can you send that to us over the summer, give us all that stuff, and then at the first meeting we can actually start the work of the committee. I'm perfectly fine with that. I just want to get your feedback. If you're telling me that that's what you want to do, that's what we'll do, and that's how we'll move forward. How does that sound?
How many renewing members do we have next year?
We're going to be talking about it at the end. So that, I don't know. We can talk about that real quick. So.
Do we get a gift?
Right?
Is that our gift?
Bottle
Is that
of
a
water or
flower
something.
gift?
Bottle of
There's your
water.
flowers. So inside of your guidelines, we do have your membership expectations. And so this is just a copy. This was how we kind of end the meetings for some of you who've been on for these meetings. You did sign up for a 2-year term. Don't forget. And then you can also sign up for 3 consecutive terms. So you can be a member of the Family Life Committee for 8 years. Now, that is different for some of our other members. So administration, the health department, our intimate partner, violence partner, those partners, the school teacher who's on here as well, those are different. Those are appointed by the Board of Education. We recommend those appointments, and then they get appointed by the Board of Ed. So Catherine Rich will be reaching out to all of you pretty soon here in the next few weeks to see whether or not you would like to maintain your membership with us, excuse me, or renew your membership. There are members that you have seen that there are name tags over there that we have not really seen this year. Those members will not be invited back and those positions will be vacated. So some of those people, if you missed 2 meetings, we did have 5 this year, but if you missed 2 meetings and you don't tell us, your name is dropped from this committee. Okay, that's also it's in the guidelines following this statement. So some of those people are going to be dropped. Catherine Rich is going to be reaching out to you, whether or not if you have an option to renew. Then she'll tally and she'll figure out who on the committee that they need to reach out to and recruit new members for the Family Life Committee, and that should be going out at the end of May, early June. They like to have that figured out typically over the summer so that we can send out all the letters and information so that you can start the new year knowing that you're a part of the Family Life Committee. So just be on the lookout from an email from Catherine Rich, the email that we use to send out reminders and stuff. That's how we're going to be getting in touch with you.
What are the chances that I could just slide into the soon-to-be vacant Frederick High feeder spot instead of at large.
So that's a question that, because this is just your first year, right?
Yes.
So,
Just getting started.
yeah, that's a question, unfortunately, that because the board handles membership, we don't do anything with membership.
I just didn't know if it was like if I would still have to be at large, or if I could just be like, hey.
So do you have a suggestion?
I was gonna say, put in an application if the position's open.
Okay.
And I would recommend do a good cover sheet and give us, there were people that applied in the recent past, and it was like, you've given us nothing here, and then other people, it's like, wow, this person is so qualified. So be sure you give a good representation of your qualifications and reasons.
You're still a member at large, so even if you, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Any other questions about membership? So Catherine Rich, contacting you, please respond quickly so we can start to move forward with new members. All right, so our process for moving forward is that I'm going to be sending stuff out in early August, mid-August, with all that opening of the year kind of information and overview and stuff like that. Is there other things, so kind of what we talked about is elementary health education, resources for summer curriculum writing. We do have some funds for summer curriculum writing. We will be looking at resources over the summer for elementary, middle school, and high school. Hopefully we will have resources to bring you for next school year. Are there other topics you would like Jess and I to work on?
Just for the first meeting and for all of
Ideas for us?
I love when we have the update on the youth risk something assessment, so it would be if there's new data to share, that would be wonderful.
every year, don't
Do we?
Every other year. So unfortunately, that data, the reality is it should be coming out in 2026 in the spring. So by one of our last meetings, the reality is we're not going to have any data. They won't have it ready to go until the fall of 26, would be my guess.
Okay.
Okay?
Brian, I know there was legislation that passed at Comar about elementary health and things that needed to be covered. I don't think we've been really rolling that out yet. Is that something that's on the burner for this summer, or?
Good question. So we are figuring out what that all is going to look like. We are expecting new resources, possibly not related to family life, but other topics in health education that will be rolled out to elementary schools and our teachers this fall. We're going to be having a meeting this summer to plan everything out. Jess, and as I said, that's one of the things, Jess and I do have money to work and to update. There are updated resources just waiting to be rolled out to teachers. So the state law that passed basically just said that we must be following Comar and the state frameworks. So, yeah. Topics, anything else? All right, you all have my email address? Please don't hesitate. We do look at the second Tuesday of the month. We are looking at these possible dates for our meeting next year. You see, there are only 4 up there at this point in time.
Do we know when Labor Day is based on? Early, late?
Early,
So it might be
like
the
first, second, third.
first or second, okay, so then this is the next week, okay.
September 1st.
Yeah, the first.
That is early.
I like how you don't have January. I
Is there a
feel
reason, yeah, is there,
Snow, we can still have snow in February, but.
The other issue, why we only put 4 on there is simply because some of our meetings were very close together and it was very difficult for the leaders. I mean, we would have a meeting and then a week later we had to have a leadership meeting and then leadership had to submit the agenda and everything like that. So that's why we're kind of looking at 4 for next year.
And I'm assuming the April 14th doesn't fall during spring break, because you guys would have already.
Is that the possibility that if we need a fifth, we would add it?
Yes.
Okay.
The committee can decide whatever. Fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so those are the dates, the possible dates for next year. We're going to submit them. Dr. Gall, make sure. We already talked about membership. And the final thing is, we thank you. This was a quick meeting. We thank you for updating our guidelines. Thank you for all the work that you've done. Again, I just want to say, our guidelines and your commitment, how everything is done in FCPS is shared across the state as a model. And one of the things, we do have on here 3 students. So if there are people that know students, we are always looking for students to come and to participate on a regular basis as well. But I want to thank you for the feedback that you give us, that you give Jess. Dr. Gall, my boss, listens in the background and gives me feedback after the meetings. But we are very appreciative of the time that you give us and all the other information. Anything you'd like to share, quick, Chair?
Thank you. Appreciate everybody.
Yes, you did a great job,
It
Robin.
was very scary.
You did a great job.
Yes, you did a great
This
job.
isn't a scary group.
Oh, no. So the COMAR framework, is there a place where we can add access to
Oh, God.
Yep.
Good luck.
that? I know, I'm not
I
good.
find Comar very hard to tap into, and I have need to do it. And I'm on a state commission with teacher education and training, and we deal with Comar.
Yeah.
But I find it very hard to access, and just put me out the sections I need to read. So if you find a good way to do it, I won't.
So they have updated the sites, and it is much easier to get to and things like that. But yeah, we can add that link to the, if you could put a little thing in the minutes real quick, just to say add link to COMAR, we'll make sure that that's inside of
I'll
there
find
as
an
well.
8-year-old and they'll help me.
Yeah.
MSDE, Health Education, COMAR, usually it's one of the first few links that comes up.
Okay.
That's it, we can adjourn the meeting.
Okay. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second? Okay. Well.
Appreciate it, thank you very much.